Just getting in from an early morning run, and I'm going to do my daily news update. Raw was up from its second lowest rating ever last week. They did a 0.48 this week. NXT was also up. They did a 0.2. So they must be happy about that. Braun Strowman, who was released by the WWE last week, is going to be asking in the figure range, so I guess 10,000 plus for indie dates. Very few wrestlers ask for that much for indie dates. I know Rob Van Dam at one point, and he might even be asking more now, was wanting 15,000. And I mean, he's worth it. For him, I can understand how he saved his money well, and at this point in his career, he's going to need a huge payday like that to get in the ring again. I know Kurt Angle at one point was supposedly asking for about that much. At one point, Hulk Hogan was asking for 25,000 for indie appearances, according to reports. But that wasn't to wrestle. That was just to appear. Bret Hart, for the longest time, was asking for 5,000 to appear. So will Braun get that? Yeah, probably at first. After the initial burst, how many people are going to pay 10,000 plus, whatever it is, to use him on indie dates? I don't know. Time will tell. I wish him luck on the independent scene. CM Punk did a podcast with Wrestling Perspective and said Roman Reigns is the best guy WWE has under contract right now. I'll actually agree with CM Punk on that as I drink a bit of tea here, because Brock Lesnar isn't under contract right now. According to the reports I've heard, though, once they get back more into the routine of doing live events and so forth, I mean, you're going to see them probably try harder to get Brock Lesnar back. But Brock Lesnar has a lot of money, so it's going to take a lot of money for him to come back. But I agree that Roman Reigns is the best guy they have right now. He's the most known mainstream guy. He's not at John Cena's level, anywhere close as a draw or known by mainstream. But I personally like him. I would have wanted to wrestle Roman Reigns. I think we could have had a good match. Good morning to you. Would I do a shoot with Bull Buchanan? Yes, because I did one with Kurgan this week that was very good. It was actually the exact opposite of how bad the Goon one was. Marco says Braun will have trouble getting that much. I don't think at first there'll be at least a handful of promoters that'll give him that. Thurl appreciates me. Thank you. No Name says that's way too much bread. You heard. Well, I can tell you one thing. He wouldn't draw that much in Great North Wrestling. For a company that's based out of a major American city, or like a city like maybe even, you know what, with the exchange rate, even though it's a little better now, I don't even know if it'd be worth it for Canada, because the exchange rate, I don't know, at one point recently when I was in Texas, I think it was like $1.37 exchange rate. Is better now. But let's just say it was only 10,000 US, that would be 13,000 in Canadian. So I don't think a Canadian promoter would pay that. But in a big American city like Chicago or LA, there's enough fans that would probably come to see him. And if the promoters are getting his all of his picture sales or whatever, they might be able to make it back. In the red corner says, especially in the UK, they do pay huge prices. Yes, I agree. In the UK, he could probably get that for sure. The fans there would go see him if it was in a major UK city. I agree, it'd be worth it there. And yeah, you mentioned the word marks. I did another update earlier. I'm not denying I'm a mark. I'm a wrestling fan. I love wrestling. You can call me a super mark. You can call me a smart mark. I mean, the reason I do the news is because I read this stuff anyways, because I'm interested in the wrestling news. So I am a smart mark. But I was being called a derogatory mark for just doing business in a lockdown time, doing business the best that I could. And even though my time in Texas with the company I was with, I would say was a failed investment. And a lot of the people I dealt with were a bad experience. Some of them were a horrible experience. I'm happy I got away from lockdown because I've only been back here not even a month. And I'm going nuts with this lockdown. I needed the 3-month break. I would have gone nuts. Speaking of Texas wrestling, World Class Revolution and the Hannibal TV are having a collaboration. So I suggest people subscribe to the World Class Revolution YouTube channel. They run in Texas, Arkansas, Kansas, and Oklahoma. They're getting a new TV show in the fall. They were around up until the pandemic, but they took a break. They've used wrestlers like Sting, Gail Kim, the Hardy Boys, so many stars, and I'm posting some of their content on this channel too. And I will be doing a podcast for them. And my first guests on the World Class Revolution podcast that I'm going to be doing, it's going to be starting soon, will be none other than Ross and Marshall Von Erich. So I'm really looking forward to this. And it's going to be a good situation for everyone involved. Also, speaking of Texas, Friday, November 5th and Saturday, November 6th is the Bruiser Brody Cup in Carthage, Texas, where I actually was in February, and I actually liked it there. And I met a lot of fans. There's a lot of the Hannibal TV fans in Carthage, Texas, and I've been asked to cover this Bruiser Brody Cup and get interviews, and his wife, Barbara, is going to be there. Sid, Demolition, I believe Kevin Nash is going to be there. So many wrestlers are going to be there. I'm really looking forward to it. There's even rumors the Texas champion might be on the card, which would be interesting. I'll keep you posted on that. Nothing official. Marco says Brock likes being paid, so it's possible that he'll come back. In the red corner says, awesome YouTube this is, pal. Keep up the good work. The goon went down. Oh boy, the goon. By the way, for people asking, according to his agent, he didn't remember anything the next day. And that's the only message I got back from him. The 24/7 championship should be in a landfill somewhere. I didn't even realize that embarrassment was still around. Someone says Roman isn't the best. He is the biggest name they have by far. I couldn't even tell you who the second biggest is. I mean, Ronda Rousey's probably bigger name than him, but she's not active. So, and if you're talking about who the best technical wrestler is, which by the way, only means you're good at pretending to technical wrestle. It doesn't even mean that you're good at shooting. I have no idea because I find technical wrestling boring, as many people do. Is there anyone I wouldn't do a shoot interview with because I don't like them? Well, I wouldn't pay anyone I don't like to do a shoot interview with. If I knew they would get hits, like a certain person I did a podcast on earlier, I did a comment on earlier, and someone was willing to pay me to do it, or if I knew it would get monster hits and I'd get revenue off it and it was free, I would do it. But people that I don't like, I wouldn't pay to do anything. I don't know about the Sami Zayn, but for the people that were wondering why I was upset about that, I had to do a 14-day quarantine when I came back to Canada. I had to take 2 at-home tests, even though I'm fully vaccinated for COVID. And this guy was on SmackDown Friday, was at a hockey game here in Canada Monday. I don't know. I don't like him as a person, and I don't think that quote-unquote celebrities or people that work for big companies like WWE should be allowed to skip quarantine when the regular people can literally go to jail and be fined tens of thousands of dollars for not doing the quarantine. John, I've never seen Aleister Black. I've only heard about him. Could he go back to WWE? Sure. Why not? Vito says, morning to the best current wrestler on the planet. Keep killing it. Oh, thank you, but I am retired. You may have seen some of my matches on here. Like the time I beat AJ Styles twice in one night, which, by the way, some people have said, Hannibal, you're too egotistical. Hannibal, you're arrogant. I'm a heel. Get used to it. I'm a heel reporter. If you don't like it, don't watch my updates. I don't care. As far as there's a lot of drama on your YouTube channel. Well, confrontation and drama and aggression and agitation, that's what wrestling is supposed to be about. It's not supposed to be about a bunch of friends telling stories, leg slapping, shoulder slapping when they're throwing punches, tricks that everyone knows and they just look like a bunch of idiots doing it. Only to the most hardcore of hardcore fans find that cool. And if you find that cool, great. Enjoy away. I don't enjoy it. In the red corner, I handled the Goon interview professionally. Who would like to see the Goon wrestle the Blood Hunter? I would like to see the Goon wrestle the Blood Hunter. And by the way, the people that have been commenting, I've been using THC too much. It's legal here. And I'm on lockdown until the end of July. Jake says, what is the best ECW pay-per-view? I can honestly tell you, I may have seen the One Night Stand WWE ECW pay-per-view, but other than that, I've only just seen matches because when I was young, there was no way to order pay-per-views on my TV, and I only made I was an athlete, so I didn't have a part-time job other than paper routes here and there. I didn't get much allowance, so I couldn't find ways to order pay-per-views. I would rent them on videos after, but they didn't have ECW pay-per-views in the video store. So to make a long story short, I've only seen ECW pay-per-view matches here and there on YouTube. I am an ECW fan. I really want to see another company open up similar to ECW that's a completely different product from what else is out there, and I think it's going to happen. Mint Diggity, Canada's always a couple months behind. We are more than a couple months behind, and Ontario is the worst. Even our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, said that the person running Ontario, a guy named Doug Ford, has done a terrible job. I mean, donut shops are open here, but you can't work out. Okay, make sense of that. Dennis, yes, it's good to have me producing more content, but it only didn't work out with a certain group that was had some shady members involved. I'm going to be back in Texas in November. And also, very likely, you're going to see me in Texas covering some events in September. And I may even be in Philadelphia in September covering another event, which I may as well put the poster up for Raven, one of the best WCW wrestlers and ECW wrestlers, is bringing someone to this Battleground Championship Wrestling ECW arena show. I think I'm going to have to be there for sure to figure out who this person is. I'm very curious. Oh my God. Somebody is actually saying I do not look like an athlete. Well, I happen to have a picture on here that I used for another video with these two beautiful, sexy ladies that I met right after I won the Ontario Grappling Championships. There I am, IWA Puerto Rico Intercontinental Champion. And my physique is actually one of its top ever physiques right now. Let me see if I could find a handy picture of me to show off as I talk here to kill some time. What's everyone's favorite wrestling theme songs? I'm thinking that I should sing a wrestling theme song right now while I'm killing the time, looking for a picture of me showing my physique, which I don't seem to have on my computer for this person that says I'm not in shape. There's a bunch. Here's a good one from one of my battles. My God, was that ever painful. But you know what? I still had sex that night. And you want to know something else funny? I made out with two different girls in the dressing room that night before that match. Made out with one after, and then banged another one after. There I am. That's a recent one for the person that says I'm not in shape. The death dealer Hannibal. I just ran like 12 miles before doing this. So there you go. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video.